there, the Lord took me into the spirit, into an encounter. And I know that the Lord has called Texas to lead America the beautiful into freedom. And so, he's positioned Texas to stand against and to take out the most evil powers and principalities and the evil regime that has had control over the great nation of America. And Texas has clearly been given the grit, the inner fortitude that's required to get things done. So as I was praying just last week, over all of this, the Lord gave me a word for Texas, and I'm going to share it
Wow.
here. So Holy Spirit, I pray you would just may this land where you would have it land today over your people. But he said, Texas, as you take your stand for truth and righteousness, be assured I will be with you. For as you walk with me and protect my people and my little ones, I will give you my breaker anointing to set my people free. There will be freedom and deliverance for Texas, and you shall lead the way for this great nation to have the same. And what I've called you to walk in is going to empower others to also take a stand. And together you will rise up into all that I've called you to in this hour. So Texas, as you close one gate with me, I will open up another together. And there will be pretenders in your midst, and there will be posers, and you will see them clearly for who they are and who they are not. And it won't take us long to sort it all out. So America, America, this is the hour, and this is the time I've called you for. So it's time to saddle up and get her done. Sound the bugle, sound the alarm, and don't look back. For it is time to take back this great nation for the glory of my name. And holy is the word of the Lord. So that came last week, and it overlays into a word that I had for Texas and for America back in June of 2023. And in that encounters, I'm in this airplane flying over Texas, over the heart of America. I just had my little earbuds in the airplane. I'm, soaking and I'm praying and I'm worshiping. And the next thing you know, there I am. I'm in the spirit. And I find myself, as I look to the west, I saw the darkest, blackest storm, these clouds that were brewing. And these were principalities and like whirlwinds that were gathering together to unleash unimaginable things into and across the nation. Now, this was the most angry, violent storm that was brewing and boiling before my eyes that I'd ever witnessed. Then I looked to the east, and I saw an angelic host of the Lord gathering from the east. Now, this angelic host, they were in an armor. It was pure silver, and the sun reflected and gleamed off of them like a mirror. I mean, they were shoulder to shoulder, as far as I could see. And now these two forces in the spirit, they were coming face to face, and it was soon going to be go time. Now this angelic host, it was at its best. Purity, power, strength that they carried, my goodness. They were not going to be defeated. The Lord of hosts was behind them and empowering them all. And this was not all of them. In fact, they were still coming in, as if they needed more, but they would not be defeated. The Lord would not be defeated, and these demonic principalities would be held into account and taken down and taken out. Now, these demonic powers, they flowed out, of these principalities into the land. And so these storms, I saw these cords and I saw these portals, demonic portals, that actually ran down into regional offices and authorities, even in businesses and corporations, for the demonic to flow into the land. Now, these cords were about to be cut by this angelic host and shut them down. So I'm over Texas, and I looked down from the spirit, and I saw the heartland of Texas. And I could see the movement of assets literally on the ground, preparing for conflict. I mean, there were dark, nefarious groups, like Antifa and some of these other ones, and they were mobilizing and taking positions with the deep state, preparing to strike and cause damage as they could. And they were being strategically placed by the enemy, to stir up as much trouble as they could. But these ones did not have anything against the Lord. Now, as I was up there and I'm looking, my attention was brought to where I saw National Guard and military movement and assets on the ground, trucks, trains, white hats, patriots, and assets that were being put in position to counter the global demonic antics and tactics that were being released against the nation. So these ones, they did not come under the command of the Biden administration, but they were under the authority of the table of generals and leaders that were working in conjunction with President Donald J. Trump. Now, these tactics and judicial strikes against President Trump would not only strengthen the position of these ones as the tables were about to be turned and flipped over. So the exposure of evidence and that which was about to be released upon the deep state was decades worth of hidden things. And I was taken into a warehouse, and they had all of this intel. It was being, securely protected and housed. And there were teams there that were actually going through it all, cataloging it bit by bit. And it was being prepared to release to the nations in detail in due time, bringing truth. So this play that the deep state was making was going to rebound against them in a way they didn't see coming. Now, Dave, I was in showing this flag. I was showing Old Glory. Now, this American flag, it was slightly different, for it was framed in gold. And on the corners, there was this braided rope with these tassels on the corner. I mean, it was breathtaking. And I knew that there was a rebirthing of America. She would be brighter than before. She'd be stronger than before. She would be more unified than before. And she would be more resolved in her destiny than ever before. Now, the battle that lied ahead was great. Many were weary, but regardless, by the grace of God, we pressed through unto victory. Now, as the army of God moved together, there was a bonding and a love and a unity that happened as they laid down their lives for one another and for the Father. And it just brought me to tears. So as they advanced, evidence was exposed, and then those officials who were paid off, blackmailed, and controlled by the deep state were exposed. And I saw SWAT teams entering and apprehending these ones, removing them from their positions. Civilians on the streets celebrating, cheering as they were arrested and taken away. Buildings and facilities then being protected and under jurisdiction of righteous, rightful authorities. Now, I was taken in an airplane hangar. Obama, he was looking to leave. He had a security detail. They were on a plane ready to go, and he had intentions to flee. But that aircraft that had been prepared was suddenly electronically disabled by the specialized unit assigned to that, and without moving, it allowed the military SWAT team to apprehend him and take him into incarceration. Now, Dave, this overlaps one more thing that is really important right now, is the wealth transfer. And you and I have talked about this, and I get phone calls from some people, and I've got a very high level assignment right now, which I shared with you, that we're walking through, and there's things going on here for real. So I was taken in the spirit. As I'm flying at 40,000 feet over Texas, I was taken into New York City. I was taken into a high-rise office tower, into a corner office, and there was a high-level banking executive at his desk. He was at his computer, and he was going to make some major financial transfers. And as he did this, a thing popped up on his screen, said, insufficient funds. At first, he thought, oh, there's a glitch. And he opened up another account, just to see, and it was also at a zero balance. Now, fear started to get him. And so he's clicking on other accounts, 0, 0, 0. He's bringing them up. The evil war chest was empty. The resources that they had controlled were now simply gone. And this guy, he lost it. Jumped on an elevator, screaming like a baby. Down he went, crying, having a meltdown and a tantrum. But Dave, the wealth transfer was at hand. Now, just a couple more things. I was taken then into a briefing room at commanders, and they were jointly being briefed on a mission with teams, special ops being deployed to strategically, surgically into other nations for further apprehensions and special assignments. And they had areas that it was now time to go into to assure the freedom would prevail. It was all business. And I knew they knew what they were called to do, and they were going to do it with honor and integrity. I mean, I saw communication towers, weaponized communication towers through, these mobile providers that were weaponized. And I saw these forces going in and shutting them down and disabling those things so they wouldn't be able to do their nefarious deeds. So the Lord then spoke to me, and he gave me a word for America. And he said, America, the eyes of the world are upon you, but much greater than that, my eyes are upon you. So America, rest assured, I've called you for an hour as this. America, I've called you to be bearers of light in times of darkness. You are called to take my light throughout your land and to the nations of the world. America the beautiful, the enemy has taken full advantage of the compromise in your land to gain access and take ground in your nation for the kingdom of darkness. And I'm calling you to take it back with me right now. So America, my beloved, I'm calling you higher in this hour. There's nothing my blood hasn't covered, for I've given you authority over such things, and it is within you to walk in it and enforce it. My word in this hour. So you may think that, there's no way out and all odds are against you. But let me draw your attention to the fact that I have never called you to a fair fight. For if I were, you would try to do it without me and take credit for the victory when the victory is mine. So be prepared, my beloved, for things that are going to make you uncomfortable. But do not fear. And do not lose heart, for I must tear down what is not of me before I can build that which is of me. And I never build on a foundation that is compromised or not of me. And I will not share my glory with another. So there are many sick and dying among you. You have not properly discerned my body. So be careful of what you hold on to and who you judge. For it is me who judges the heart of a man. And how can you rightly judge when you can't see it all? For there is nothing that is hidden from me, and it is I who compromises not. So stay close to me and to my cross in this hour. For this is not a moment of self-exaltation. I have resisted the proud, and I always will. My paths go through the low places, and these are the paths I'll meet you on. There's more shaking to come, and it hurts the more falling from high places than if you stay low and remain in me. So America, I'm bringing righteousness and justice back to your land. And as I do, hearts will turn unto me, men, women, and children, coming into my kingdom in unprecedented ways. Prepare, for the harvest is at hand, and new wineskins are being released. There are some that will miss it, bound by religion, bound by religious and political spirits. And I have come that I may bring life, an abundant life. So I'm holding those to account who will not turn from their evil ways, their crimes against humanity. The warmongering and oppression of my children shall be brought to justice. The fear of my name shall once again be known in the land. So I beseech you on this day and this hour to examine your heart and come to my throne of grace, and let me set you free, heal you, deliver you, and bring you into fullness of my salvation, and refresh you with the spirit of joy. So let me, beloved, you love sons and daughters, I assure you that you will never be the same. And holy is the word of the Lord.
Wow. Amazing.
Oh.
Wow. So Barry, for those who have not seen you in the Spirit of the Lord, can you explain how that shakes your body and how the Spirit of the Lord? Because I've been holding on to you when the Spirit of the Lord comes, and it is absolutely amazing.
You know, Dave, I can only say that as his presence comes onto me, it's like I got 1,000,000 volts of electricity going through my body, and I don't have Tourette's. I don't have any demonic things going on in me. As the Spirit of the Lord comes upon me, my physical body, it's like a lightning rod, and I've got just this electricity that just comes out of me and through me.
Well, I've had a chance to see it on camera, but better than that, I've seen it face to face. Your face actually lights up before that happens. So it is literally electricity coming through you from God.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very.